What were the early days of Brazilian punk like? What were the early days of Brazilian punk like? To answer this, we need to look back to the late 1970s and early 1980s. This was a time when Brazil was under a military dictatorship. The political and social climate was tense, and many young people were frustrated. They found an outlet for their feelings through punk music. Brazilian punk was heavily influenced by British and American bands like the Sex Pistols, The Clash, and the Ramones. However, Brazilian bands made their mark by singing in Portuguese. This choice allowed them to comment directly on the social and political issues affecting their country. Some of the key early bands included Restos de Nada, Olho Seco, Colra, and Ratos de Porão. These groups combined fast, raw music with lyrics that addressed political repression, poverty, and everyday struggles. They often worked within a do-it-yourself framework. This meant they produced their own records and organized their own shows, despite facing censorship and limited media support. This grassroots approach helped create a tight-knit punk community. Initially, the scene was centered in São Paulo, but it quickly spread to other cities like Brasília and Curitiba. Early Brazilian punk also drew inspiration from local glam and hard rock bands, such as Jolho de Porco and Made in Brazil. These influences contributed to the punk aesthetic and provided alternatives to the dominant Brazilian popular music and progressive rock scenes. By the mid-1980s, Brazilian punk began to change. It started incorporating post-punk elements, leading to the rise of bands like Inocentes and Mercenarias. The movement also became intertwined with anarchist and political activism, especially after the end of the military dictatorship. Punk music became a platform for organizing against social injustice and economic hardship. The early Brazilian punk scene was primarily made up of lower-middle-class youth. Initially, it was less inclusive of Black Brazilians. However, over time, bands with Black and mixed-race members began to emerge. These bands addressed issues of racism and discrimination within and beyond the punk community. In those early days, Brazilian punk was a politically charged movement. It adapted global punk influences to local realities, using music as a tool for social critique and youth expression during a repressive era. The passion and energy of those early punk bands laid the foundation for a vibrant and evolving scene that continues to thrive today.